Imagine this scenario. A 28-year-old professional sits at a cafe table across from two men. One is in his late 20s, conventionally attractive, financially successful, and checks every box on paper. The other is in his early 40s, average in appearance with a modest income. By logic alone, the younger man should be the obvious choice. Yet something pulls her toward the older one. She can't clearly explain it. 3 months later, they're inseparable. So what actually happened? The reason isn't what most people assume. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the psychological force that makes certain older men deeply compelling to women, regardless of appearance or income. Welcome back. Here we break down human behavior and relationship dynamics in a way that actually connects the dots. Today we're exploring one of the most misunderstood patterns in modern dating. Make sure you stay engaged, because this is insight most people never hear. Let's start by separating myth from reality. When people talk about attraction to older men, they usually reach for the same explanations: money, status, maturity, or evolutionary arguments about protection and provision. And while these can play a role, they don't tell the real story. What research reveals is far more interesting. A large-scale psychological study following thousands of participants across age groups examined what women described as deeply attractive, especially in older partners. The strongest factor wasn't income. It wasn't physical appeal. It wasn't even maturity in the traditional sense. It was something known as secure presence. Before dismissing that as a buzzword, stay with me. This concept is grounded in decades of psychological research and changes how attraction actually works. So what is secure presence? Secure presence is the ability to exist comfortably in yourself without needing approval, validation, or reassurance to feel okay. It's the absence of tension that says, "I need you to like me," or "I need to prove my value." Someone with this quality doesn't rush to fill silence. They don't perform. They don't collapse under disagreement. They simply show up fully, without effort or defense. This matters deeply because the human nervous system is wired to detect authenticity below conscious awareness. When someone is trying too hard, posturing, or curating an image, the brain picks up on the mismatch. Psychologists call this incongruence detection. That mismatch creates subtle unease. But when someone is fully aligned, when what you see is exactly what you get, the nervous system relaxes. And in a dating environment dominated by performance, image management, and validation seeking, that congruence is rare. Now let's talk about what happens neurologically. When a woman interacts with someone who has secure presence, her threat detection system begins to quiet. At the same time, the part of the nervous system responsible for safety, connection, and calm becomes more active. She isn't consciously analyzing this. She simply feels relaxed, grounded, and at ease. And in a world filled with stress, noise, and emotional volatility, that feeling is incredibly powerful. Research consistently shows that women report the strongest attraction toward partners who make them feel emotionally safe, even more than those who are exciting or intense. Secure presence is the foundation of that safety. So why does this quality appear more often in older men? The answer lies in experience and psychological integration. By their late 30s or 40s, many men have faced enough failure, rejection, and disappointment that they've been forced to confront reality. Careers didn't go as planned, relationships ended, mistakes were made, and they survived. This process slowly dissolves the desperate need to appear perfect. Developmental psychology describes this stage as a shift from proving worth to living according to values. Performance gives way to authenticity. The focus moves from image to substance. A younger man is often still experimenting with identity. He's seeking validation, building status, and trying to locate his place in the world. That's not a flaw, it's developmental. But an older man who has done internal work knows who he is. He's accepted his limitations. He's no longer chasing approval. And that acceptance creates a grounded calm that's extremely attractive. Let's look at how this plays out in real situations. Picture two men on first dates. One constantly references his achievements, mentions influential connections, and watches closely for reactions. His attention is outward, scanning for approval. The other asks thoughtful questions and genuinely listens. He's comfortable with pauses. He responds to disagreement with curiosity instead of defensiveness. When something goes wrong, he handles it with calm rather than ego. By the end of the evening, which one leaves a stronger impression? Psychological research is clear. Attraction is driven far more by how someone makes you feel than by what they own or how they look. Secure presence creates feelings of safety, respect, and being seen in a way that surface-level traits never can. Now, an important clarification. Not every older man has secure presence. Age alone doesn't guarantee it. Some older men remain approval-seeking and insecure. They've simply learned to mask it better. Likewise, some younger men develop secure presence early due to difficult life experiences that accelerate emotional growth. And secure presence is not emotional detachment. Being disengaged or indifferent is not strength. Secure presence means being fully engaged without needing a specific outcome to feel okay. One draws people in, the other pushes them away. So can this quality be developed? Yes, but it requires work most people avoid. First, attachment patterns must be addressed. Anxious attachment makes secure presence difficult because reassurance becomes a constant need. Second, real-world challenge is essential. Secure presence isn't learned through theory. It's built through failure, recovery, and realizing you're still okay when things don't work out. Third, a strong internal reference point is needed. This means knowing your values, trusting your judgment, and being willing to be disliked for being authentic. Finally, presence must be practiced. Secure presence is literally about being here, now, rather than trapped in self-monitoring. Mindfulness, body-based awareness, and certain therapeutic approaches can help develop this capacity. So let's return to the woman from the beginning. She wasn't drawn to age. She was drawn to a man who had lived, failed, and grown comfortable with himself. In a world full of performance and approval-seeking, that quality stands out unmistakably. The most attractive trait isn't wealth, physique, or charm. It's being real, calmly, unapologetically real. Excitement can spark attraction quickly, but it fades just as fast. Secure presence does the opposite. It deepens attraction over time. As trust builds, emotional safety increases. As safety increases, intimacy deepens. And as intimacy deepens, attraction becomes resilient instead of fragile. This is why women often describe these men as hard to forget or different from anyone else. It's not mystery, it's nervous system alignment. Modern dating trains people to optimize perception instead of authenticity. Profiles are curated, conversations are rehearsed. Everyone is trying to say the right thing at the right time to avoid rejection. If this shifted how you think about attraction, share your thoughts below. And if you want to explore deeper psychological dynamics in relationships, continue with related content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.